Ever love them? And we're hoping to give everybody who's here, including some of these guys, interchanges some ideas maybe, is some information on what's happening in our neighborhood and beyond. So we have members from District 2 office, Vanessa. Thank you, Vanessa. San Jose Police Department, Captain Fong. And Mo.
Lieutenant Wilson, the rest of the kids.
CHP, sorry.
Man's got to do what the man's got to do.
And from the Parks Department, we have Pedro Castro. Thank you very much. We've done a lot in the park recently. San Jose Department of Transportation, we've got Jeremiah over here. Sean Oresco and Manny Cotton. Give us some information on what's happening in our freeways and roadways. And coming a little bit later is a Jackie Hefner from Affordable Housing and Open Space. She's actually representing them tonight. And I'll introduce her further later. So with that, let's get on with our agenda and talk about LPNA Business activities that we have working on as a board member and some of our members. So, of the people who are LPNA members here tonight, if you read the minutes of the February meeting, I'd like you to put your hand up if you approve the minutes as written so that we can post them on our website. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like a unanimous decision, so we will post those on our website, LPNA, LosPasajosNeighbors.com. You'll see them there, and all of our previous minutes. Thank you very much for that. One thing that's going on, coming up, and we're planning quite heavily for it right now, is National Night Out. We've already registered with the city. Actually, they came out today and asking for some registration for the police department. But I've registered nationally with the National Association of Town Watch. So we're set up again to do National Night Out in the Los Paseos Park. And this year we're going to have the Crimson Blues Band again. They did a fantastic job last year. We're going to have the Bubble Guy, Brian the Bubble Guy, show up again. We're going to have a lot more hot dogs than we had last year. We sold 400 hot dogs last year. We didn't sell them, but we gave away 400 hot dogs last year. And we're going to have more this year. Also, with National Night Out, this year you can spread the word. There was some unhappiness with our jumpy house last year because we learned a big lesson last year with jumpy houses. The little kids like to play in jumpy houses, and big kids like to play in jumpy houses, but not at the same time. And that's what happened. So this year we're getting 2 jumpy houses, and thanks to some sponsors who are going to help us do that. We'll notify you of that later. So as time goes on here, we're going to be putting out some requests for volunteers to maybe man the jumpy houses and maybe help us out at our National Night Out, and I hope you spread the word that maybe you can help us this year. We could use a little bit more help. Appreciate that.
What's the date, Ben?
It's the second Tuesday, first Tuesday in August, so it's August 7th this year. First Tuesday in August. Something else that's we've done, Los Paseos Neighborhood Association's done, is we've taken a very big grab hold of Los Paseos Park, and we're trying to keep it up to date and bring it up a little bit to standards. We worked with the Park Department. They'll give us an update later today. But coming up on July 29th, we have another community event similar to the one in which the restrooms were painted with a local church, Burnell Church, what they call Five Hands Sunday. We're going to go and paint the teacher's room lounge of the Martin Murphy School. It's in pretty dire shape right now. We're going to freshen it all up. And we're going to also paint the library at Los Paseos Elementary. So Los Paseos Neighborhood Association is going to team up with Grinnell Church and make that happen on July 29th. So you'll see some more activity about that.
And if anybody's interested in that, we have a place where you can sign up to participate in that July 29th event.
I see Jackie has walked into the room. Hi, Jackie. I'll introduce you a little bit more later. You want to move out of the sun?
No, I'm good.
So let's go on to updates. Anything, any other business that you have questions on? Okay. District 2 update from Vanessa.
Thank you, Greg. Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Vanessa Sandoval, and I'm Chief of Staff for Councilmember Sergio Jimenez, who represents District 2. I know we see a lot of similar faces. A lot of you folks are regulars, and I just want to say that LPNA is personally my favorite of our neighborhood associations. Don't tell anyone.
That's not busy. That's not busy. Come on, my district.
You're the most organized and the most engaged, and you're my favorite. So. I just wanted to to take a few minutes to update you on a few things that are happening in your neighborhood. So, participatory budgeting, the never-ending PV process. We're actually moving forward. Project 1, we had an update I want to say about a couple months ago. It might have been at the February meeting where we had an update. We're still moving through the process of the establishment of the nonprofit organization, and once that organization is established, then we'll move forward with the implementation of the project and putting up of the cameras and the signs. East has been working very diligently with our office and the city manager's office to make sure that that's a smooth transition. The problem is that unfortunately this paperwork has to go through the federal government and the state government, so it does take a bit of time. As of now, we're hoping to wrap this up and begin implementation hopefully by July. If that changes, we'll continue to post updates on our website, so please feel free to visit our website. As far as the round 2 projects, so the schools have already received their money. We have Dave here from PRNS who can update you on some of the parks, but most of those projects are ongoing and they're scheduled to be finished by June 30th. You might have seen a bunch of trees being planted on May 5th. Our city forest was working with our arborist from the city, and they were able to plant 23 trees on May 5th, and they're going to be planting the rest of them throughout the month of June. The mulch has already gone up. It will be replenished. And then we have Manny here from the Department of Transportation who can update you a little bit on the signs. But all of those projects are ongoing. We're moving forward with those, and we're hoping to have those wrapped up by the end of this fiscal year, which is June 30th. As far as the house on the hill, Greg asked me to update you on the proposed construction off of Bayless. So that home is still currently in the planning process. It hasn't yet been approved by the Planning Commission or by the Planning Department. The Planning Department recently asked the developer or the homeowner to revise their plans to move things around because of concern of the community garden that's down below. And so they're still waiting to get back the revised plans on that house. So as of right now, it's still in the planning process. The next stages are that once the plans are revised, they're going to be resubmitted to the Planning Department, and then the Planning Department will make a recommendation to the Planning Commission. And then once it goes through Planning Commission, if Planning Commission decides that they can't approve it, then that information, or that they will approve it, we'll send that information out. But we do know that the Planning Department did take very seriously the community concerns that we heard at the public hearing that happened a couple months ago. And so they are asking the project proponent, the homeowner, to make those adjustments to not impact the community garden below, as well as to make sure that there's the least amount of impact on just the wildlife out there, and that any concerns from the community are mitigated in some way. So we'll keep you posted on that. But as of right now, basically the ball is in the homeowners court, and we're waiting for them to get back with the revisions from the planning department. And then lastly, Greg asked me to update you on bridge housing. So all of you might have heard that there is currently not a bridge housing site in District 2. The 2 proposed sites are in District 3 and in District 7. The Housing Department will be putting out a memo where they basically analyze both of those 2 sites and present council with the pros and cons of both of them to allow for council to make a decision as to which one would be the most appropriate. We're expecting that memorandum to come out in June. So once that is out, we will send notification to everyone. And Sergio would like everyone to know that even though we don't have a site in District 2, we're still very engaged in the process. We're still working with the housing department because whatever moves forward, we want to make sure that it suits the interest of our community and that it can provide as much help possible to our homeless population. So that's still a work in progress. There are going to be several summer events. We're going to be doing a Viva Parks at Ramick. We're still working on the date. I'm pretty sure it's going to be July 10th, but you'll be seeing that in our newsletter, and there'll be also some other movie nights at some local parks in District 2. So if you're not receiving our newsletter, please let me know. Greg can forward your contact information to me, and I'll get you on our newsletter so you can get all of our events. We're going to be doing a lot of fun movie nights and Viva Park activity days at some of our local parks, and that's where you have rock climbing walls, jumpy houses, and other things. So those are going to be great opportunities to come out, meet your neighbors, and engage. And the one closest to your neighborhood is going to be at Ramick, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be July 10th. You'll see that in our next newsletter. And if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Did we ever get an update on, I just thought of this now, the Knob Hill church thing? I don't even know what's going on.
So that, right now, it's, to my understanding is that the church has some proposals for changing up the location. So they want to make some modifications to the building in order to make it adequate for their use. And those negotiations have to happen with ROIC, the property management company. And I believe that there has been some difficulty in getting those plans approved. So I'm not sure if they're still on the timeline of moving in December. I know that they do have a sublease with Knob Hill, but they had a little bit of difficulty working with the property company. And the reality is, as we all know, the property company wasn't too happy about the church moving in. So from what I know, it's still right now a private discussion, contractual agreement between the subleasor and the property company. So if we get any more information, we'll make sure we update you on that. But that's to my knowledge, that's where they're at.
Thank you for that question, Lisa.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Vanessa. Appreciate it. Now, Captain Fong, would like to come up and give us an update on Mo.
Inside joke with the city council. I was telling her that if I would have told her she's my favorite among all the other city council names, they would have been like, oh, what the heck, right? But you really are my favorite, Vanessa. Thank you. Johnson Fong, you haven't met me? So get on my good side, right? Tell me. Anyway, I remember it wasn't that long ago, about 6 months ago, and I think I was here, and I go, man, I love this place. I really do. Because, you know, hey, everybody be quiet for a second. You hear the birds chirp and butterflies flopping around. It's a great place, you know? And I'll tell you why. Now I actually have evidence to show to you guys to say why I believe this is such a good area. So for the last month, your neighborhood association had 1 burglary, 1 theft, and 2 stolen license plates. If I were running a business, I'd be out of business. Meaning, this is a great place. Meaning like, hey man, you know what, for 30 days, if that is the kind of crime issues you have, that's not bad.
Is that Los Pasteos neighborhood or, okay.
Whatever the man tells me.
Borders. Okay.
So the man tells me, this area, please do a statistical check. So also your member goes, hey, do me a favor, can you do some comparison for me so we get an idea what's going on? I'm about to give you guys some information. Don't be shocked. Remember, you live in a city. Follow me there? Good. Get my backside. That has 1.1 million people. 1.1 million people. All right, and I always do this, right? You know, even they're just 1%, if just 1% of the 1.1 million people are bad, you're looking at 10,000 people that are out there doing criminal elements. But that's what they do. We go to work, we make money, right? That's our job. The criminal element, they go to work. Does that make sense? They have to burglarize, and rob, and steal, fraud. I mean, this is business to them. It's an odd kind of concept. So what I'm gonna tell you, please do not be shocked. This is within the last 5 days of your division. So I'm not even talking about citywide. I am your Southern Division captain. Your division is from Hillsdale to Morgan Hill, from Highway 101 to Los Gatos. That is your division. So,
X and Y?
X-Ray, TA. Now let's keep the Q&A toward the end, so you got, don't run to my flow, man. You're killing my act. I can't be funny. You keep stopping my flow, Vanessa. Okay. On May 12th, 3 in the morning, the case is a parolee in possession of a firearm in the area of Capitol Expressway and Snap. Everybody knows that, right? Okay. On the above day and time, 3 in the morning, on May 12th, Officer De La Rocha made consensual encounter with a subject in a vehicle who was acting suspiciously. That person was on active parole. A search of the vehicle revealed a stolen .45 handgun, a Glock pistol with extended magazine. California ruse, 10 rounds, right? Way more. Okay. There was cocaine. There was drug paraphernalia and a black ski mask. And this guy's a parolee. A parolee cannot have firearms by law, but yet he has it. He was booked for possession of a firearm, and the robbery unit was informed. That was less than 5 days ago. On May the 13th, the following day, 2 in the morning, a shooting in the 4500 block of Hounds Haven Way. You guys know where that's at? Up Monterey, not too far from here. Such as up the street. Not here, you can't walk there, but it's far enough. You can drive there rather quickly. About 2 in the morning, a house party was occurring. A fight broke out. 2 male kind of went at it verbally in the backyard of the residence. One of the male produced a handgun and shot the other male multiple times at close range. The male suspect fled the scene and have not been identified. That person is going to live. That person's going to live. But close range, firearms discharge. Not too far away from here. But pretty far, and he says, your driving is kind of close, but you're walking as far off of Hounds Haven. That was on the 13th. On the same day, at a different location, Hillsdale. Hillsdale's real popular. Stay off Hillsdale if you can, okay? A gentleman was driving his motorcycle 2 in the morning, and he was minding his own business. However, another driver came by, struck the motorcycle motorist, got on a motorcycle, knocked him clean off his feet. I'm not sure this gentleman's going to be able to keep one of his foot. That's how severe the accident was. And that person who struck this motorist took off. It's really dangerous, right? About from 10 p.m. to about 3-ish, because they're drunk driving, late night, so if you guys have no business not working at night hours, I go home about 6, 7, 8, I lock the doors, and I used to laugh at that, but I'm like, you know what, if I don't need to do business late at night, I would avoid it. Daytime is a great city, very, very safe. Nighttime, a lot of stuff is happening. All this so far is nighttime, right? Remember, I'm just talking about the last 5 days in your division. Again, May 13th, 3:09 in the morning, 3 in the morning, the type, assault on a police officer. A police officer gets beat up. 4300 block of the Woods. You guys know the Woods apartment right there? Big apartment complex, generally pretty nice. But a lot of times when you have a lot of people in one place, just stuff happens. It's mathematics. Like I said, 1.1 million people in the city. 1%. And that might be an overestimate. I'm just saying 1% for easy mathematics. 10,000 people might be out there doing some silliness. Okay. So on that day, at that time, all the district officers are wiped out. That's the lexicon, the term that we use, meaning the police officer in that district was busy doing everything else. So we had to pull police officers from different divisions. We had to pull them from somewhere else to say, hey, please, officer, the Southern Division cops are busy engaging priority calls. I need other police officers from other districts, from other divisions to help out. So these districts came, and they were as far away as from the Valley Fair area, just to give you guys an illustration. And this is 3 in the morning. Security officer goes, hey, there's a big fight inside the Woods apartment complex. Police officers arrived. They spoke to a subject. security goes, that's that person fighting. So the officer approached this person. This person was semi-naked, all right? And I'm not going into details. He's semi-naked, acting very goofy. And the officers try to communicate with the subject. And this subject punched the officer in the head. And believe it or not, this happens all the time. All the time. Officers get assaulted. If I were to talk about police officers getting assault attack, I would be boring you. You probably won't believe me. Let me talk about this case, and I'll add something in very quickly. Ultimately, they arrested the subject, and they booked them for attack on a police officer and under influence. Just the other day, this rookie cop, you asked about rookie police officer. She's been on for less than 2 weeks on the force. 2 weeks on the force. Confronts a female. She was not all impaired. I think she had mental disabilities or drugs perhaps. But ultimately, that female spit. I don't have the right past participle for that, but in that female police officer's eyes. And then she goes, hey, you know what? I have AIDS. That's what I have. So the female police officer, rookie, that would be a rookie, we give her medical treatment, and she's home as of today. She's going through that cocktail. They call it some kind of medical cocktail to suppress any illnesses from whether it's HIV or AIDS. Again, attacks on police officer happens every month. Every month we have a police officer attack. Man, May 13th is a busy day. All right, May the 15th, Boston Hill snow. You guys might have heard this on the news. 1 in the morning. You guys catch me on the time period? 1 in the morning. God, I'm not kidding. Once the sun goes down, man, it gets difficult out here. So on May the 15th, 1:10 in the morning, officers respond to the area of Blossom Hill Road and Snell, report of 2 victims shot. So they arrived at the Lucky's parking lot, right there at Blossom Hill and Snell, and they found one person was dead from a gunshot wound, and another person that was shot, and they transported him. The homicide unit is investigating this. Since that homicide, we had 2 more homicides just last night. Not in your division, but different division. And again, I try to keep it more like, hey, this division, so you don't have to worry about other divisions, whether it's Foothill, downtown, and or maybe as far away as Winchester, because I just kind of give you guys some relevancy. What's happening around you, your division. Almost done here. May the 16th, 0012 hours. Any military folks in here? About 12:15, right? Okay? 12:12 a.m., again, after midnight, okay? In the area of Whitmere, that's right there off of Snell and Hillsdale, and some of that area, that pocket is so goofy. Stay off Hillsdale, please. 2 unknown subjects went up to a person who was the 3200 block of that area, pointed a black handgun at the victim and took his car keys, and ultimately took his car. That is known as a carjack. That car has not been recovered yet, and that was on the 16th. Also on the 16th, today's 17th, right? Yeah. So this is really yesterday. So it's 18th? 17th. I lost track because they called me like 11 o'clock last night, said, hey, Captain, there's a homicide, 2 victims. I mean, I have not slept much since 11 o'clock last night. Working on multiple cases around the city, not your division, but albeit a lot of stuff's happening in your city. So yesterday then, it's the 16th, right? In the area of Hospital and Cotto. Everybody familiar with that? Ooh, this happened at 6:30. So good. 1 case out of 7 cases, at least it's not after dark, right? So this happened. A brandishing. A subject got into a road rage incident with another motorist. The subject brandished a handgun and fled. The suspect's license plate was found. The victim witnessed, hey, here's the license plate. Cops, we do what we do. I told you I love doing stuff like that. That's what we like doing. We tracked down that person. where we identified this person, we found a replica firearm inside the car of this suspect. The officers also found 2 other brandishing incidents and a hit and run incident with this specific subject. My friend's hospital, Parkway and Cotto is pretty close, right? That one we could walk to, can we not? That one we walk to. Okay? That subject was booked. So in the last 5 days, I just highlighted a couple incidents. Not scare tactics. It's not like, I'm trying to say, hey, things are really, really bad. I'm just giving you the facts. These are the facts. When you compare what had happened the last 5 days in our division, we all live in the Southern Division, just not those different districts. And when I say to you, in the last 30 days, you have 1 burglary, a theft, and 2 stolen license plates. I'm overjoyed. I wish I lived in your district. I wish, let me be here, because where I live, there's a lot of burglaries, a lot of auto theft, a lot of property crimes. As a matter of fact, another statistical factor came up, and I'm really proud of this one, but yet it still paints a picture. Since January 1st, 2018, San Jose police officers from all 3 watches throughout the city have recovered 75 handguns. And when I say recover, I'm not talking about, let me pick up a handgun. I'm talking about, sir, may I talk to you for a minute? You look like you're on parole. And when I pull you over, John, sir, may I see your license? Oh, you have a warrant for this? Through those contacts, 75 different firearms were found or recovered. Now that number, to me, is phenomenal. It blows my mind, because back in the day when I was a younger police officer, we took pride. We took a gun off the street. It's a big deal. I probably took 3 guns. I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna say 4 guns max. I might be embellishing there. In my entire career, 28 years as a San Jose police officer. In the last 5 months and 17 days, 75 handguns were taken off the street. I don't know what's going on out there, but it's a little bit hot. Going back to LPNA, you guys are talking about jump houses. You guys are talking about, okay, maybe the big kids should go to here and little kids goes to here. I love hearing that. Why? Because that means you guys are doing pretty good. Your neighbor's doing exceptionally well. Now, I'm not saying that police officers not come around and provide services needed, but I am saying you're living in a wonderfully safe neighborhood, a very good neighborhood. And I could do this each time. And I guarantee you, each time I come, and I give you this comparison every quarterly, you're going to be scratching your head. You're like, Capt, are you sure about that? Absolutely. And I'm not even talking about citywide. I'm just talking about your division. Any questions? Ma'am.
Regarding the handguns, I'm sorry if I'm ignorant.
No.
I don't know.
Ask me about math. I don't know nothing about math.
But so, are you, you're not even allowed, the only place you're allowed to have a gun is in your home? Is that the rule?
So,
You're not allowed to have a gun?
I could talk about many things, but California, boy, I get nervous as a police officer in possession of a firearm because they change all the time. Well, they're not changing, but it's happening fast. So technically, if you are in the comfort of your own home, there's a saying, your house is your castle. You do pretty much your firearm, your business, same thing. Now, once you go to the public, you can transport your firearm to and from, like from your home to a gun range. You have a locked makes sense? Not loaded. But that's changing. A lot of things are changing. You guys have heard this new law. You leave a gun, it better be locked. I'm afraid to pack a gun because if I don't put it in the lockbox, I'm not getting arrested. So I'm getting a little nervous myself. The firearms issue is very sensitive in the state of California, and I understand why. You have a lot of these school shootings, unnecessary violence, and I get it, I understand. But I'm just talking about purely the statistical number. I have never seen that kind of 75 handguns. I was talking to my deputy chief before I came here, literally face to face. I'm my boss. He's my boss. I've never seen this before. That many handguns off there, he says the same thing. I've never seen firearms.
But so, if you stop somebody and you find a gun, it's yours. I mean, you confiscate it, period. Is that-
Well, it depends. Now, you're a police officer, right? Peace officer, you're allowed to have a firearm.
Okay.
You have like a concealed carry permit.
Yeah.
Some people they apply to the sheriff's office. You know, like some DAs, like sometimes like some.
But Joe Blow citizen.
So Jane citizen, I have a firearm. Like I said, you're going to and from a fire range, it's fine.
Yeah.
But if it's loaded, not good. Now, I don't take it. I book it into evidence and I take it to court and say, Your Honor, I believe she's innocent because she has no legal right to possess. But hey, you might have a legal reason. Maybe you just purchased, maybe you just bought it from Big Five. There's a receipt, you're going home, it's brand new, unopened. So there are a lot of extenuating circumstances. But please, when I say to you, the 75 handgun that recovered, not you, not me. It ain't you buying a gun from Big Five or Walmart. You know what I'm talking about? These are folks out there like what I read to you earlier. There's police, these subjects that are road rages, brandishing weapons. These are people calling us and say, hey, you know what, shots are fired. We rode up. We are the one, as small as I am, we're the one that actually go to the gunfight. It's strange, we like that. We really do. That's what we're trained for. We're the little rat terrier that go into the hole and grab that little rat. That's what we're trained for. That's why the academy is so long. It changes. And I love the military folks because they're kind of like pre-trained. They actually do go to the gunfire. It took me a while, but I'm kind of used to it now. Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's neat that all this is happening, that you guys are there and catching guns. But what about the people doing the crime? It seems the pendulum has gone to the way where, like 17 and younger, we don't want to put them in juvenile hall. It's empty now. They want to put adults there. Is it starting to come back where the chief is getting a little bit more happy? Like when you do get a 14-year-old that starts beating on a cop, you do hold them instead of just slapping their hand and take them back to their parents' house? Or is that going to happen for years now?
So the position of Chief Garcia is he would definitely like the county officials and have a talk, because the juvenile system is a juvenile reform system. It's a big system. It's not just the city of San Jose, the county of Santa Clara. It's the entire state of California. There is a reformation, a change of perspective. There is a belief that locking up children may not be the way, may not be the solution. What are some of our solutions? They're trying different things. So you might have seen, like, for example, like Prop 47, Prop 57, all these different things. Hey, why don't we release some of these people from county jail and our prison because of these laws, that law? Why don't we do that? When I was a younger police officer, possession of certain marijuana is a misdemeanor. If you possess X amount of marijuana or touch it, it's a felony. Now you can show me a piece of paper. Okay, I'll have a nice day. Try not to smoke it in front of a public place because that's a violation of smoking in front of a, school or something like that.
Unless you're the guy in the Fremont that killed those people.
Yeah, it's horrible. That he's referring to that gentleman who was under intoxication of marijuana and getting in an accident and killing someone. It's interesting. I tell my police officers, being a captain now, I've seen the pendulum swing left to the right. I learned that in college.